An exhausted father, down to his last few dollars, risked everything to protect a complete stranger in a crowded coffee shop. He thought he was just saving a struggling woman from a humiliating public breakdown. What he didn't know was that the woman in the stained, oversized sweater actually owned half the city, and she never forgot a face. The Seattle rain was unforgiving that Tuesday morning. At 34 years old, Romano Pendleton looked a decade older. The deep creases around his eyes were the physical receipts of 3 years of relentless hardship. Since his wife Sarah passed away from cancer, Romano had been locked in a losing battle against medical debt, a crumbling job market, and the terrifying responsibility of raising his 6-year-old daughter Lily entirely alone. After dropping Lily off at school, Romano sought a brief refuge before heading to another job interview. He ducked into a local coffee shop. Checking his bank app on his cracked smartphone, he grimaced. His available balance was exactly $12.45. He could only afford one black drip coffee. Suddenly, a booming, arrogant voice silenced the cafe. "Are you completely blind? Or just stupid?" Standing near the counter was a wealthy executive in a bespoke charcoal suit, his face flushed with rage. The target of his fury was a woman who looked utterly exhausted, wearing a faded gray cardigan and scuffed sneakers. She had accidentally spilled a tiny drop of coffee near his lapel. "You ruined the $4,000 suit, you clumsy idiot," the man barked, taking a threatening step forward. "People like you shouldn't even be allowed in here." The other patrons awkwardly averted their eyes, but a familiar heat flared in Romano's chest. He couldn't stand by and watch a bully humiliate someone. Romano stepped out of line and placed his large frame squarely between the enraged executive and the quiet woman. "I think she apologized," Romano said, his voice calm but dangerously low. The man sneered, looking at Romano's frayed coat. "And who the hell are you?" "Trash defending trash." After a tense silence, the bully scoffed and aggressively pushed his way out of the shop. Romano turned to the woman. Up close, he noticed she had striking, piercing blue eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked gently. "Yes," she whispered. "Thank you. But unfortunately, I left my wallet at home." Romano thought of his remaining $12. He thought of the eviction warning sitting on his kitchen counter. Then he looked at her trembling hands. "Come on," Romano smiled. "I've got it." He swiped his debit card for a latte and a muffin for her. His phone buzzed instantly with a notification. "Your available balance is $1.30. He handed her the coffee. "Keep your head up out there. My name is Romano." "Claire," she replied with a firm grip. Romano walked out into the rain, completely unaware that the woman he had just spent his last dollars on was Claire Montgomery, the billionaire CEO of the largest real estate conglomerate in the Pacific Northwest. The next morning, Romano was desperately searching for day labor online when his phone rang. It was an executive recruiter from Montgomery Holdings. "We are searching for a senior director of project management," the voice said. "Your portfolio crossed our desk, and we want an immediate interview today at noon." Romano couldn't believe his luck. He put on his only surviving suit and headed downtown. But the interview didn't start well. The vice president, a ruthless man named Derek Mercer, looked at Romano with utter contempt. "You haven't managed a project in 3 years. You got soft. I don't see a Montgomery man here." Romano leaned forward, fire in his eyes. "I stepped away to care for my dying wife. I'm not a corporate shark, but I know engineering better than anyone in this building. If you want a killer, hire a mercenary. If you want this project built flawlessly, you hire me." Before Mercer could issue a rejection, the door clicked open. The CEO's assistant walked in. "Mr. Mercer, the CEO wants to see Mr. Pendleton in her office immediately." Romano was led up to the 50th floor. Behind a massive desk stood a woman looking out at the skyline. When she turned around, Romano's breath caught in his throat. It was her. The woman from the coffee shop. Gone was the stained gray cardigan, replaced by an immaculately tailored designer suit. "Claire?" Romano whispered. "Claire Montgomery," she corrected with a knowing smile. "I really did forget my wallet that morning. I was exhausted from dealing with corrupt board members, and I just wanted a quiet coffee. When that bully screamed at me, I was ready to take it. But you stepped in." She looked at him deeply. "I know about your debt, Romano, and I know about your eviction notice. But I also know you spent your last $7 to feed a stranger. Integrity is the rarest currency in this building, and I need someone I can trust. I am hiring you as the senior director. Your salary will be $250,000 a year, and I will clear your back rent today." Romano's life changed in an instant, but the battle wasn't over. By Friday, Romano discovered massive financial corruption in the company's blueprints, and it traced directly back to the vice president, Derek Mercer. But before Romano could report it, Mercer trapped him in his office. Mercer tossed a manila envelope on the desk. "A fake wire transfer of $2 million was authorized from your terminal this morning. By 5 p.m., the board will see this and fire Claire for gross negligence, and you will go to federal prison. Say goodbye to your daughter Lily." Romano's blood ran cold, but instead of reacting with violence, his analytical brain took over. He looked at the timestamp of the fake transfer, 9:04 am. At exactly 9:04 am, Romano hadn't even been at his desk. He was down in HR, physically signing biometric paperwork. Romano quickly brought the evidence to Claire. Together they looked deeper into Mercer's project files. Romano, using his brilliant architectural skills, proved that Mercer had been buying cheap construction materials while charging the company for premium ones, pocketing the multi-million-dollar difference through a shell company registered in his wife's name. At 4:45 p.m., the emergency board meeting was called. Mercer stood up triumphantly, demanding a vote of no confidence to remove Claire as CEO. Suddenly, the double doors swung open. Claire and Romano walked in with absolute authority. Romano threw the HR records and the shell company's property deeds onto the table. "The fake transfer was done remotely by your assistant, Mercer, and we have the proof that you pocketed millions using a company registered to your own wife." The boardroom erupted into chaos. Just then, 4 federal FBI agents stepped into the room with arrest warrants for wire fraud and embezzlement. Mercer collapsed into his chair, utterly broken, as handcuffs were slapped onto his wrists. That evening, Romano walked out of the tower into a clear Seattle night. His phone buzzed. It was a bank notification. Direct deposit received. Available balance, $20,124.50. He smiled, looking up at the sky. He didn't just have his dignity back, he had a secured future for his daughter. If you loved this thrilling story of a single father proving that true integrity always wins, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video,